Hey guys, Matt Science here, and today I have two stories lined up for episode number 5 of r/BlackHoleRevenge. I am saying that completely out of order, but honestly, at this rate, mostly today, I'm not really caring that much. So, let's just get into these two stories for today. We'll start off with this one. You let him rap us, I set you up. Oh yes, so yeah, both of these stories, they are cross posts from other subreddits. That's why I forgot to mention that at the start. The reason I put the sentences right below this is because I know myself it sounds completely insane, and a few people will say it's fake. Trust, there is no one on this earth that wishes it was fake more than me. If I could go back, I would go back. I would go to the neighbors sooner. But my reality is that I caused the death of my mum. I had to mature very early. I became like a surrogate to my sister for those last 3 years. I only wanted him to beat her up, he go to jail, and my mum get help. I never wanted her to die. First, this is a throwaway account. I will not be replying to comments. Take this as you will. This is my story of my revenge against my mother and rapist. First, our father passed away 4 years before all this started. Car crash. Maybe our lives would have been better if he hadn't died that day. Also, before I get into this, one thing you should know is, before this man came into our lives, our mother was amazing. She was loving, supportive, and put us above everything. But she would soon replace us with her new man and her new meth habit. When I was around 9 and my little sister 7, our mum started dating this man. We'll call him Piece of Short. Piece of Short was tall and weighed about 250 pounds. He had oily brown hair and a face filled with sores. I didn't like him from the start. He made me uncomfortable, to say the least. A few months after they started dating, POS moved into our house. Everything was okay for the first few weeks, I guess. Then Mum started to act funny, staying up all night, not cooking us lunch or supper, not cleaning, snapping at us for no reason, and started hitting us. Our lives had been turned upside down by this man so quickly. Then one night, he came into my bedroom, held me down, and rapped me. Okay. No. Why? I was screaming and crying for my mum, begging her to come help me, to come save me, please. And then I'd seen her, standing in the door, watching him rap me. My mum was just letting him do this to me. She was just watching, like she was looking at a TV or something. When he finished, he climbed off of me, he walked to my mum, kissed her, and walked away with her. My mum just left me crying and bleeding. I had just been rapped, and she allowed it to happen. Not long after they walked out, I hear them having sex in the living room. It was my 10th birthday. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Got nailed by a rapist. Happy birthday to me. Oh no, why did I go there? A couple of nights later, I hear my little sister crying. I get out of the bed to find my mum standing in her doorway. I run to the room to try to help her, and my mum sees me. She backhands me across the face, making me slam against the hallway wall. I can hear my sister crying and begging, with no one coming to help her. That was the day I started hating my mother. The rap and abuse went on for 3 years. I didn't know at the beginning, but soon found out POS had got my mum using meth. POS and meth were the only important things in her life. My sister and I were nothing more than his play toys. Oh no. I soon started noticing them arguing more and more about who got more hits. This one was stashing from the other one, and you smoked the last of it all by yourself. This is when I started planning my revenge. I noticed after about 3 days they would finally pass out and would sleep for almost 2. Their bag of meth, which always be on the table side beside POS. I know most would ask, why didn't you call the police or child welfare? Because jail wasn't enough. He might have wrapped us, but she betrayed us. She turned her back on us, and I wanted revenge and wanted her to suffer like we had. So every chance I got, I would move the bag, just at first, make it look tampered with. Then I started taking it from the bag and placing some on my mum's table. These things alone caused a lot of fighting. They started getting physical. I'd keep my sister and I out of sight when this went on, and they never lasted long. Well, I continued to do this over a couple of months, taking more and more, flushing it, or dropping it down the sink. Until the last day. The last day, I took the whole bag. I took the whole wafer bag and just ran over the hills. No, it was a good amount. They had just re-upped, like they would say. I flushed the whole bag and locked my sister and I in my room and quietly prayed that they didn't realize it was me. I am not sure how long after I did this that everything started, but we had watched like 3 Disney movies before they finally woke up. And then I heard him start yelling about his missing bag. The yelling got louder and more intense. Then I heard the breaking of objects. It was starting to get bad now. I hear my mum go from angry to scared. I hear him hitting her begging him to stop, swearing she didn't touch it. He continues to hit, and she continues to beg, begging him to stop hurting her, begging someone to come help her, begging like we begged her for so many nights. My sister started asking to leave. She was scared and crying. I opened my window, put my sister outside, and followed. We ran to the neighbours and told them that POS was beating our mum. The neighbour called the police and brought us inside, and we watched as the police pulled up to our house. Start to walk up to the door, stop for a second, then start yelling, "Police!" and kick the door open. After what felt like forever, we see POS being brought out to the police car. I wait to see my mum follow, but she doesn't. I see an ambulance pull up and the paramedics run in the gurney. A short time later, I see them rushing back with my mum. I catch a glimpse of her once beautiful face, now looking like ground meat. Her face was solid red, covered in blood. She ended up dying on the way to the hospital. I never planned to have my mother killed. I just wanted her to feel the pain we had been feeling for these last years. And I guess in the end, she did. She felt the pain and terror we felt every night for the last 3 years. She just felt it all in one night. Do I feel bad about what I did? No, I don't. If I didn't do what I did, we would have been stuck there, being wrapped and beaten every day until one of us would have died. POS was convicted of second-degree murder, possession of drug paraphernalia. I flushed the actual drugs. Child pornography, pictures of us, and 23 counts of aggravated rape and 17 counts of aggravated rape against a person under 12 years of age. That last one is a death sentence where this all happened. We moved a few states over to be with our dad's parents, and we haven't seen them in almost 4 years. And for the first time, we actually felt safe. My sister, to this day, doesn't know what I did. Doesn't know that I played a big part in our mum's death. And since we never talk about either of them, it never comes up. And we are both happily married now. I have 3 children, she has 2. Both of us are active members of our PTA. No one looking at us today would ever guess the hell we went through, or what I did to get us out of it. TLDR, her mum allowed her boyfriend to rap us for 3 years. They were hooked on meth. I made it look like mum was stealing it to make them fight. He ended up beating her to death. I didn't want her dead. That wasn't my intention. He is in jail and my little sister and I are finally happy. I don't feel like it's a smart idea to be pointing fingers, but she did cause her mum's death. She's admitting that she caused it without actually doing it. And she does admit that it was an accident as well. She only wanted the mum to feel pain, not to die. Oh, boy. Okay, let's just move on to the next one where it's actually a bit more tame. Won't pay me for my work? I will ruin your business from the inside. My story was taken down from r/ProRevenge, so I decided to put it here. For some context, this all happened to me just over a year ago. After telling the story to multiple people, some of my close friends told me it would be appreciated here. English is my third language. Usually people say it's their second language. Third, you rarely hear. Sorry if there's any grammatical errors. I apologize in advance for the long read. TLDR at the end. To begin, I moved to the US from Germany about 5 years ago. My father found a steady job as an insurance salesman, and my mother was a housewife for the first couple of years living in the United States. At this time, I was only 12 years old and attempted to find friends in my 6th grade class. After about 3 years of living in a calm suburban town, my mother had eventually become more increasingly bored as a stay-at-home mum, and she decided to start looking for a job. Eventually, she found a job translating for a small new options company based in the big city near my suburb. Her boss and CEO was probably the most narcissistic, arrogant dick I have ever met, so we'll call him DB for douchebag. In addition to translating conversations, emails, documents from foreign clients, she was also in charge of building the company's new website and managing all the documents and programs they had made. About a year later, after I had turned 16, I was looking for a job, and I eventually started working for my mum's boss and his company because they were looking for employees, and I was looking for employment. When I started there, I was put in charge of the website management because I knew a lot more about technology and computer stuff than my mum did. Before I continue any further, I'd like to explain a little more about DB's company. So basically, what his company does is create resources and tutorials for people who are learning about trading, options, or stocks, and their lessons weren't cheap. Clients varied in wealth. We had some very rich, and others looking for deals on a budget. This is important to the story. Anyway, I wasn't paid an hourly salary for my job with DB's company. I was paid a predetermined amount per task that I completed. It worked pretty well at first. DB would assign me a task to complete, and we would agree on a price for my time. Most of the tasks were tedious, busy work no one in the office wanted to do. DB and I had only met in person a few times, and we mostly talked through emails. As with school, most of my work with the company was done on my computer at home. For a few months, everything went smoothly, and I made a decent amount of money for a kid my age. I didn't mind doing the work as it was very simple, just tedious. I could watch YouTube while working at home, which was a win-win for me. Eventually there came a time where I was paid a little less than what we agreed on. However, I noticed, but I didn't really care, as I was still making a lot of money. I thought it was just a mistake on his end, but I was wrong. After completing more tasks, he started paying me less and less than what we had previously agreed on. When I eventually confronted him about it, he argued with me and said that he paid the amount that we had agreed on, which I knew was a complete lie. There even was a time where he didn't pay me at all. I was so sick of his short. He kept making excuses about how I'm just a kid and I don't need to pay taxes or something, and he just went on and on and on and on. At this point, the only reason I still worked for this a-hole was solely to get revenge. About a month later, I get a very important email from DB explaining that a new client just made a very expensive order and bought a copy of almost every course, document, and lesson that DB had for sale. My task was to revise all the documents in his order and create a folder to locate copies of all the resources. Like I said, it was easy work, but time consuming, and everyone else had something more important to do. I told DB that I would start immediately, and I would have the folder ready by the end of the week. However, this was a lot of work, and I wasn't sure if DB was even going to pay me, so I didn't do anything. By the end of the week, my inbox is exploding with emails from DB frantically asking about the folder. I said that I was really busy the whole week with school, but DB wasn't having it. He lost a client that he made tens of thousands of dollars off of. He called my phone, and when I answered, he started screaming at me and that I wouldn't be paid for my work, which I probably wouldn't have been anyway, and I was fired on the spot. I honestly didn't really care, as at this point I really knew how much of a dick DB was. I thought I was done with him, but sadly I wasn't. DB began harassing my mother at work, physically and mentally. Wait. Did DB push your mother around? I witnessed this when I visited the office with her. She eventually quit, but I knew I had to get back at DB once and for all, and I wanted him to really suffer this time. What DB didn't know was that I still had access to the website and I was an admin. I had access to all the resources of the company that they sold. Slowly, I started to formulate my plan, and a great idea came to me. Disclaimer, I am not sure if what I did here is illegal, but I know that DB deserved this. When clients approached our website, they filled out their email address or phone number. What I did when a new client contacted me through the website, I contacted them with a fake email and gave them every resource they asked for free. This went on for months, and when DB heard the news that there had been 0 new clients in months, it shattered him. He actually became depressed. At this point, it made me so happy to see him like this, and I knew I had to take it a step further. Began reaching out to regular clients too, and giving them all the company lessons and documents for free too. This was a small company, and it didn't take very long. Pretty soon, the company started to go under, and as they had 0 sales for almost a whole quarter. After DB's company went under, his wife divorced him, and he was left unemployed, living off his savings, which hopefully won't last him very long. I don't know all the details about what happened to DB after his company shut down, but I do know that his future isn't very bright at the moment. He is a depressed alcoholic. The best part is that he'll never know that it was me, and seeing the closed sign in front of his old office building every day makes me smile. My mum worked for TLDR. My mum worked for a company that sold courses on how to trade options. These courses include docs, videos, and lessons. When I turned 16, I worked for my mum's boss, who often refused to pay me and abused my mum. However, he didn't know that I still had access to his company's site, and I gave all the customers all the courses for free, putting his company out of business. It's like, you gotta be a dick to, you gotta be a douchebag to your employees, prepared to just watch your whole company just go down, all the way to ground level and below, just like that. Also, I love how the wife divorced him. The wife in this situation probably was a gold digger. She's like, oh, he's making a lot of money off idiots, basically. I'll marry him, get some money off him, and make him look like an idiot. And then he loses his job. I'm gone. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and the second channel for you guys to go check out, along with links on the screen to the playlist and the last episode. Go check them out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. Ding, ding. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.